Hi Gaurav,
Hey Aditya, hi.
welcome to Sudeep Audio's channel.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Uh, we just heard a nice melodious song, which
College
is
days, yeah.
yes, which is very popular, and you're the singer and composer for it.
Composer for that, yeah.
So, could you share with us about your kind of school days, college days, and how did you get inclined towards music?
Uh, Given the fact that now I'm a professional musician, I actually started my relationship with music quite late. Uh, you won't believe कि throughout school music से मेरा कोई लेना देना नहीं था.
Meaning, we have a lot of people who say that when I was 6, I started playing tabla and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You never went
She
through.
started singing at the tender age of 4 or something like
Yeah,
that.
first stage
Yeah,
performance.
yeah. मेरा ऐसा बिल्कुल ही नहीं था. I started learning the guitar at the fully ripe age of 21.
Wow.
So it was quite late. I was just a bathroom singer, you could say. जैसे मेरे घर में nobody is a professional musician. My father is a music buff, big fan of Shankar Jaikishan, O.P. Nair, S.D. Burman.
But that's how maybe you got influenced.
Yeah. My mom has learned Indian classical a little bit when she was in college. But otherwise, nobody is a professional. So, घर में as such music was played just like any other house, film songs, Bollywood. That's what I grew up listening to. And when I was in school, I wanted to become a cricketer. I had got nothing to do with music at that stage. It was only after getting into engineering, when college began, I started listening to rock and started attending live concerts. That was the time I started getting inclined towards music in a slightly serious manner. So I think it must have been at least when I was 17, 18 that music really started becoming, like an influential thing in my life. Uske pehle tak it was all just like any other youngster who just listens to the popular film songs.
Right.
For me, it was just that. But in engineering, I happened to take part one day in this Western solo singing competition.
So you just took a chance.
No. What happened was I was a volunteer. My volunteers, I was fixing mics and all for the other singers.
Okay.
And as each of them was singing, I was thinking to myself कि इससे अच्छा तो मैं गा लूँगा. So when about 5 or 6 were left, I decided कि I'll give my name for an on the spot entry. And I won that competition. I gave my name, won the competition. And
What song was that?
it was a Pearl Jam song called Black. And I kept singing the same song in various competitions that year. Won about 6 or 7 of them.
So college was really happy.
College was really happy. He became a popular guy in college. Also became the singer of our college band. So it was that period of a few months where I started singing in front of people. Before that, मैंने सिर्फ अपने लिए ही गाया था घर पे. But those few months got me from, you can say the bathroom or my own, room to the stage. And, once you start singing on a stage in front of people, it's an addiction in itself. It's like a kick.
You never felt scared because obviously you were never into. A lot of kids, perform in school, in competitions at a very young age. But when you were
Correct.
first on stage, didn't you feel that fright that that?
No, I did feel, very honestly. I would be lying if I say कि एकदम ही easy था. But what happens is, if you are confident, if you try to be composed on stage, the audience is comfortable. If you show your fright to them, then even they realize that कुछ गड़बड़ है. So I remember I was doing this concert in a college. I think it was D.Y. Patil College. And it was a beautiful crowd and a full packed open air thing. And I was a little tense because, so right in the first song was a Bryan Adams cover that we were doing. And I just said, everybody put your hands in the air and stuff. And I said it with full confidence. And I saw around 2,000 hands going up in the air. So when something like that happens, okay, मेरे में कुछ बात तो है. अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ और ये लोग कर रहे हैं, यानी कुछ बात है. So, you gotta let go. You have to trust yourself. Now, if you are there and on stage and it's your job to entertain them, then there's no point, thinking too much about it or getting scared. So, luckily I was able to overcome that fright and go for it. And gradually with experience, you start becoming better and better.
Right. We also saw you playing the guitar. So did you take formal training or did you?
No, I learned the guitar by myself, through the net.
YouTube videos?
No, YouTube wasn't really too popular then. In fact, it didn't exist. This was way back in 2002. So YouTube was not there. I was watching my band members play. तो एक तो थोड़ा सा देख के you understand what is an E chord and what's a C chord. I got a guitar, which another band member helped me get. I play left-handed, so we got a righty converted into a lefty. And I used to see chord charts, and there were some good websites back then. I don't know whether they're still there now, but they had good diagrams, they had some good videos. So that's how I learned to play. Strumming was a bit of a bother initially, but dhire dhire I kept playing it. With guitar, you have to just keep at it. It's a very troublesome instrument early on, but eventually I got the
Is
hang
it
of
like a number of hours a day that you need to practice?
See, for me at that point of time, there was no desire to become a musician. Even though I was doing music, I had no intention of becoming a musician at all. My goal was to give the GRE and go to the US and do MS, because I was doing engineering and I was quite a good student even then. So what started happening was that playing an instrument and singing started becoming more of a way of expressing myself, and subconsciously it was happening for about 6-7 hours a day. You know, that's when I realized that I'm really enjoying this whole thing, and I was performing in my own college, other colleges, started writing songs as well. That time there was also this relationship that went wrong in college, so I wrote a few songs for that, just like how they show in films. So it was a great time, that whole time, and it was a time when a lot of trading of CDs and cassettes used to happen. People used to share music. Up to net pe people are busy downloading stuff, sadly, but at that point of time there was this excitement. And 2002, the internet also was kind of just beginning to become better. So I used to download lyrics. I used to learn the lyrics for every Pink Floyd song and try to get the interpretation of every song. And it was a great time. And I used to spend, it was like almost 7-8 hours a day. But not something like कि पढ़ाई करने बैठा हूँ 7 घंटा, वैसा नहीं है. It was more of वो हो रहा है, अपने आप ही हो रहा है.
Is it cool to maybe just sing English songs in college? Was that with a particular intention? Because you said you grew up with Bollywood and...
No, I sang a lot of Hindi songs also in college. Okay. Like our band typically used to play a Bryan Adams song. Euphoria's Mairi was quite a hit. I used to also sing their Dhoom Pichak Dhoom song. Because Mairi thoda ऊंचा पड़ता था मेरे लिए. So I remember Dhoom Pichak was my preferred choice. There was Sayoni by Junoon. At that point of time, a lot of bands had some good influence. There was Junoon, Strings, even guys like Shun and KK had good albums that were coming out. Silk Route was there. We used to play Duba Duba. Bollywood during that time was slightly, it was kind of too commercial. There was no song which a band would... I remember that song, Tu Ashiki Hai we did as a band. That had that whole flavor. So the newer composers were getting in. Shankar Ehsaan Loy with Dil Chahta Hai kind of brought that whole band thing. But uske pehle ka jo phase tha, I think that was slightly more filmy. So as a band, it was slightly tough to pick up songs from there. But as you rightly said, that Bollywood influence never left me. Because I have grown up in the 90s. So all the scores by people like say Jatin Lalit or Anu Malik, Nadeem Shravan, Anand Milin, these are the songs that were playing day in and day out. So I like those melodies also. So that thing has never left me. It's all there inside somewhere, I believe.
Right.
So
you after engineering got into perhaps obviously India's, but even Asia's best management institute, IIM Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
So what branch did you kind of follow or take up in the course?
See, the original plan was कि Bombay से Mumbai से MBA कर लूँ and maybe side by side do something in the music industry, because by the end of engineering I had started realizing that I want to do music
as a profession.
Maybe I would like to try it out, but there was no clear cut way of going ahead. I did not know anybody in the industry, so I thought एक MBA कर लेता हूँ, it'll be like a secure backup, and it'll help me get a decent job, and maybe being in Mumbai कुछ ना कुछ शायद avenue निकला है. No, unfortunately, obviously, fortunately, I got into IIM Ahmedabad. So, when I got admission there, I realized that this is too big an opportunity, and maybe these 2 years that I spent at an institute like IMA should help me get closer to my goal. So before getting into IMA itself, I had kind of made a plan that 2 saal ke baad maybe I'll not take up a job, I'll get into music, and let's see if these 2 years that I spend here help me make it easier for myself. So obviously I had to take marketing courses. I took a lot of brand management, retail management courses.
But with this in mind, that
With
you
this in
want
mind, actually what happened was a very interesting incident actually. In the first week of IIM, we had a mentor, a dorm mentor. He's a professor at IIM, Sunil Handa. So he was my dorm mentor. He had come to my dorm and he was asking everybody, क्या करना है तुमको MBA के बाद? Everybody wanted to take up a job.
This was immediately after admission?
Immediately, 1 week, within the course. So everyone said job लेना है. Some people said business start करना है. So I didn't know what to raise my hand for. So he said, तुम्हें क्या बनना है? So I said, I want to become a musician. So I think that excited him a lot. कि अरे IIM का लड़का musician बनना है. So he said, तो क्या, what is stopping you? So I said, I need some money to make an album in the future. So maybe I'll take up a job from you. So he said, how much money will you need? So I said, 20 लाख रुपए लगेंगे. So he said, okay, I'll give you 20 lakh today. तो आज मैं तेरे को 20 लाख देता हूँ, निकल ले. Make your album now. तो ऐसे नहीं, अभी I've come here after so much of effort, तो मैं MBA कर लूँगा. उसके बाद आप मुझे अगर 20 लाख दोगे, I'll make an album. So we had a deal that day.
Oh, okay.
That the day I pass out, he'll give me 20 lakh and I'll make an album. It's quite strange that sometimes when somebody just gives you a promise like this, a spark, gets ignited within you. So with me, suddenly I had this thing that ab to album banna hi hai. So, now that sudden worry that I needed money, or it just vanished. I was 21-year-old guy at that point of time, and I believed in what he said. So the next 1 year, I spent only in thinking of ways by which my album will come out. So I did not sit for summer placements at IIM. I went and worked with a music company to understand what a music company is, album बनने के लिए क्या क्या चाहिए. So I worked with Times Music, got to learn quite a few things there. In the second year, I chose a lot of courses which were related to my topic of interest. I set up a studio in my hostel room. So there were a lot of things that I did back then, because I had this belief that banega hi album. And after I passed out,
sorry, what is the studio like? I mean, what was the
setup over there was this keyboard itself. In fact, it was an Evolution MK.
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah, I still have it here. And I had an SM58 mic. I had the M audiophile studio monitors, and I think I was working on Nuendo at that point of time.
So it's interesting you got this.
Yeah, and I got an M audio sound card at 2496. Yeah, I got that sound card.
It's interesting because you bought this from Sudeep Audio.
Yeah, I got it from Sudeep Audio. And also Melodyne, which is one of my favorite softwares today. Your dad was the one who showed it to me for the first time.
Right.
And I was so intrigued by the entire, because softwares were coming up at that point of time, big time, and it was an exciting time for me.
So at the institute in your hostel, you set up this small.
I set up this,
thing.
yeah.
Now, did any of the other professors object that what is this
and
guy doing? He's not studying. He's wasting a seat. I mean, that kind of feeling is that.
I have always seen that this kind of a feeling comes only from people outside the institute. Within the institute, there's a lot of, mental development that has happened. And, people are wise enough to realize that management is applicable to any field, whether it's marketing or finance or, sports or even films or music. Today, management is a backbone everywhere. And whether you're managing somebody else or some other project, or whether you're managing yourself as an artist, it's not a difference, the principles remain the same at the end of the day. So in fact, within IIM there was a lot of curiosity and a lot of excitement that there's somebody who wants to become a musician, so let's see how we can help this guy. So everyone, including the professors, batchmates, seniors, juniors, everyone is chipping in with their help, somebody knew somebody working
really
in
nice.
it. Yeah, it was at IIM Ahmedabad you have a very supportive environment. That whole ecosystem is very supportive. So I remember.
How about home? Because that's actually your main support. And what about your parents? Because you must have told them at one point that, see, I'm doing this, but...
Yeah. I told them right at the end of my second year, where I was myself sure that, okay, I don't want to sit for placements. I would like to become a musician full time. So I had taken that decision. And my parents already knew that I would like to do something in music. But towards the second year, I had a talk with them. And, I told them that this is what I want to do. I think ever since when I got into IIM, that's when they kind of let me be. They realized, okay, this guy is probably more intelligent than we thought he was. So IIM में गया तो कुछ बात तो है इसमें. So they kind of gave me some freedom, and luckily there was never this time frame that okay, we give you 2 years to prove yourself or something like that. I always feel that if you want to do something, you have to, if it's your passion, then you've got to give your life for that. It's not this whole I'll give myself 1 year or 2 years, because as each day you're trying to work or practice, that whole time period will loom over your mind, and things start becoming annoying or frustrating. And for me, I wanted to do this because I loved it, not because I wanted to prove a point to somebody कि 3 साल में करके दिखाऊंगा. So I remember after passing out of IMA, I got a concert in Mumbai, Jam Cat concert करके था, where I was opening for Parikrama, and I called my parents to watch the concert.
Nice.
So it was a big audience, about 5,000 people, and we played for about 35 to 40 minutes as an opening act, and it was a great performance. We had practiced very well, and the crowd responded a lot. I played about two or three originals there.
Same band members from
No,
college,
no,
or different?
new people. Because I had shifted to Mumbai then, and I was working with professional musicians. So everybody loved it. I came home, so I asked my parents, and they were like, very good, we never knew that you had a good stage presence, people are responding. But एक ही है कि, Parikrama, those guys had long hair, they look like musicians, you're looking like an MBA. So either you grow your hair, do something. So everyone was into it, right from that stage. It was never that, oh, you're doing it, but, pata nahi dekh le. It was never that. In fact, even today, it's a journey of about 5 years now. Now when I'm doing a film song, my dad comes and suggests hook lines.
Right.
You might try this, for a love
He's also
song.
excited,
Yeah, everybody is excited. And, the truth is, see, for parents, they want to see their child working hard at the end of the day. Had I chosen the field but not been working towards it, I'm sure they would have been a little skeptical. So unko bhi lagta ki this is not happening. But they've seen me work hard. When I passed out of IM, I realized how little music I actually knew. When I was working with Ranjit Barot for my album, working with people like them made me realize that I'm a complete nobody and I don't know anything, and I need to start from scratch now. So I started learning Indian classical, started taking vocal training, and I've worked hard. I don't think it would have been possible for me to make a film song today had I not invested that much time in practicing. So they have seen all that. So they know that it was not a whimsical decision that I took. Soch samajh ke, and I have backed it up with that kind of hard work. So when they see that, I don't think any parent would have a problem. At the same time, मुझे ये लगता है if my parents would not have supported me, then I think I would have taken up a job also to make them happy. Because I feel at the end of the day, everyone should be happy as a family. You don't want to, your parents have done everything they could to get you to a certain stage. So you don't want to just override their wishes and So thankfully in my case, we are from Mumbai, there was no financial constraint. So they were all supportive. So that worked out for me.
Right. This brings me to one question, which is a lot of people keep asking, I'm not from Bombay.
Yeah.
How do I enter this line? Now, you exactly, are a similar example.
Right.
Where you just happen to live in Bombay.
Correct.
But
I knew nobody otherwise. Yeah,
nobody.
Yeah.
So
the
it's as
music
good as
industry
an
was an
outsider.
alien. Yeah.
So what would you advise people wanting to get into this line as a singer, as a music producer, as an
Correct.
engineer or composer? What would you advise them that what should they do? Should they move to Bombay? Should they keep coming? What is your path?
I think moving to the city is extremely important, because at the end of the day, you have to be here for a certain period of time to just understand what the industry and the people are all about. आप आते जाते रहोगे तो it becomes a little difficult even for people here to trust you with any kind of work. Now let's say if I know that there are some singers who are here, who are based here, I will call them for work. Versus I know somebody जो कभी यहाँ है कभी दिल्ली में, I may think that they are not available. It's important to at least be here for some time, But I think the most important thing is to have the right attitude before you come here, because the industry is a little tough and it's a small industry. So getting into it is not that easy. Everybody is talented and you see talented people coming here every day. So what is important is to commit yourself to the field. That I want to become a composer, I want to become a singer or a lyricist or an engineer. And to know that I have to do a lot of hard work. Because everybody sees the success stories and you believe that, oh, it was one day he was in some production house sitting and luckily they found him with a song. It doesn't work that way. Behind that, success is years of knocking on doors,
वही चप्पल
present.
घिसना
Yeah,
पड़ता
yeah.
है.
Whether it's a singer who has sung tons of scratches that didn't get approved, or a composer who has made a lot of songs that got rejected, or an engineer who kept doing odd jobs and barely made any money. It is a story of everybody here who has made it big. Everybody started small and they kept working hard. So the main thing is, a lot of people I find who come to the city, initially वो एक बहुत जोश होता है, they're meeting people, but after a few months maybe, or they just kind of lose the steam, and they go away, they go back, and then they hope that again I'll come back again with them. It doesn't work that way. थोड़ा you have to be prepared to go through that grind, because that grind is there and you have to go through it. I don't know any field in which there is no struggle or no hard work. I was at a leading sound engineer's place today, and he was telling me how small the fraternity of sound engineers that are doing top work is. So for any engineer to get into that bracket of getting big films is very tough, so they have to keep at it all the time. Having said that, I believe at least for singers, today it's become a little easier with so many reality shows. They have a chance of getting, if वाकई talent है आप में, there's a slight chance that you might get onto a television show or might get a break. Even musicians, music composers today are getting breaks. Probably it's become a little easier compared to 10 years back, जब सिर्फ 10 या 12 ही म्यूजिक डायरेक्टर थे. आज हम देख रहे हैं कि people are giving chances and breaks to new music directors and new singers. If the song is working in a certain singer's voice, the producer, the director doesn't mind, as long as it's sounding great. So it is a very good time for people to give it a shot. But expecting overnight success is not, a lot of people believe like somebody like a Honey Singh has got overnight success. I don't think so. I think he's worked hard at it for years, whether it's building his physique or building his identity, coming up with the kind of rap and the content. It takes patience and hard work. So that is, at the end of the day, the most important thing.
Right. At any stage, did you feel that, अरे कहाँ फंस गया मैं? Let me take up a job, let me apply. I mean, you obviously get in anyway.
Yeah. See, when I was doing my summer internship, I realized that I am not meant for a job, for a 9-to-5 job, because, I just felt I was working with a music company and I was drawing up promotional plans for their artists. So at that point of time, I felt कि instead of making promotional plans for other people, मैं खुद के लिए क्यों नहीं promotional plans बनाऊं? तो जब when I passed out from IIM Ahmedabad, that's the first thing I did. I made a promotional plan for myself, approached a lot of brands, and Colgate Max Fresh was the brand that took up college days, sponsored the whole thing. So that experience helped me. That entire experience of marketing, making presentations, pitching. I pitched myself as a brand. That helped me.
So you didn't need the 20 lakh?
I didn't need the 20 lakh, that professor. But he had stuck to his commitment. Had I needed, I'm sure he would have given it.
Right.
So, I never felt that मैं कहाँ फंस गया हूँ. At every stage, I tried to keep myself busy. Even when I had no work, I was making songs for the future. Or I was trying hard to get shows for myself. When I was new, कोई आपको shows देने तो वाला है नहीं. तो मैं क्या करता था, I used to go to college fests and tell them I have a band, and these are a few shows that I have done. I used to show them clips, and they used to not pay any money. So I used to go to brands like cat coaching classes and computer coaching classes, and I used to tell them, see, I'm this IIM pass out. So if you pay me 50,000 rupees, I'll make sure your posters are all over the stage, and you will get your publicity जो शायद आपको 2-3 लाख रुपए में मिलेगी. So it was a deal that worked out for everyone. College didn't have to pay anything. I got paid by the brand, and the brand got a publicity that probably they would have had to spend a lot more for. तो ऐसे बहुत पापड़ बेले हैं मैंने to in the beginning stages to just get experience, get out there. And I made sure that at no point of time did I keep my mind idle to think about what is happening, कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. You start getting depressing thoughts only when you have nothing to do. But if you're keeping your mind busy with practice, because music is such a vast field, आप जितना भी आप जानो, it's less. When you start thinking you're great, you should just go for a Zakir Hussain concert and you'll be back on the ground, knowing where you are. So learning music or listening to songs, studying arrangements, listening to other singers, there's so much that can keep you busy. And I always believe that if you get better at your work, people will want to work with you, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to work with good people. As a composer, I will want to work with a good singer, good lyricist, a good engineer, good programmer. Similarly, a producer will want a good composer. So if I work hard, I remember 2009, after college days, I did a lot of shows, 2008. 2009, that whole thing had subsided. I barely had anything to do. So, March, I met a programmer called Dipanjan Guha, who also is a great client of yours, I believe. And we, for about 3 months, we only made songs. You know, he at that time, that point of time was relatively free. So was I. We used to make a song a day. You know, he used to come with his portable setup to my room here. And we made about 45 songs in 3 months, I believe, fully arranged.
New.
Yeah. Okay. And out of them, maybe 20 were good, 25 must have been average. But those 20 songs, when I went out to, you know, show people my work, I suddenly started getting a lot of, you know, interest, that producers were showing interest. And that's how 2009 I did this. 2009 end, I had signed 2 films, Will You Marry Me, that released last year, and a film called, at that point of time it was titled Joker, but now it's going to be called something else, with Rajiv Khandelwal and Prachi Desai, which might be out anytime soon. So, you know, it was, I didn't have to keep knocking on doors. I had done a lot of hard work in that period. So I believe depressing thoughts will only come when you're not keeping yourself occupied. If you keep yourself busy and keep your focus in front of you, then I think you will never get those kind of thoughts.
Right.